Good afternoon, everyone. We do have a new microphone system, which I'm certainly not familiar with, so someone in the audience, please give me an indicator of down or up as need be. I'd like to call this meeting to order at exactly 1 p.m. We do have full council members, which means we have quorum, and we are present in front of our clerk, deputy clerk, and several other staff members, many other staff members for that matter. Our first order of business is our land acknowledgement statement. The Township of Hamilton is situated within the traditional territory of the Mississauga, Anishinaabe, and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nation. Our work on these lands respectively acknowledges their resilience and their long-lasting contributions to the area now known as the Township of Hamilton. Item 3, are there any additions to the agenda? I don't believe there are. Moving on, could I have a motion, please, for the confirmation of our agenda? Our prepared motion is that the agenda for the council meeting held on January 21st, 2025 be approved. I have a mover, moved by Mark, seconded by John. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried, thank you. For the last two meetings, I missed bullet point 5 on our agenda, so I'm going to make sure I do it today. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Bruce, do you have a particular item that you will be declaring? Is it the rezoning application later on in the meeting? Okay, thank you, Bruce, for that. And that will be noted in our minutes. I don't believe we have anybody online with us, which would mean we do not have any public questions under item 6 or presentations under 7. And we do have a public hearing meeting to go to, and a motion would read, that is recommended the Council of Corporation of the Township of Hamilton enacts as follows. The council moves into a public meeting under section 34 of the Planning Act at 1:02 p.m. on January 21st, 2025. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Larry, seconded by Mark. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Our first item is zoning bylaw amendment for Bruce Potter, being zoning bylaw 14-24 on 4885 Westington Road. Bruce, are you going to step out for a moment, I take it? I would ask Jennifer if she would like to come and stand at the podium, I guess. We used to at least have a chair for you. Now we don't have a chair or a desk at this moment in time, so. You'll want to keep your report short or your back will start to hurt. Jennifer, the floor is yours.
Okay, through you, Mayor Jib. This is an application for a zoning bylaw amendment. The file number is ZBA 14-2024. It pertains to a parcel of land located at 4885 Westington Road in part of lots 21 and 22, concession 8. The zoning bylaw amendment is required as a condition of consent application BO224, which was approved by the Committee of Adjustment on July 9th, 2024. And with that conditionally approved severance application, they severed 2.6 hectares of land for lot addition purposes that were added to an adjacent vacant agricultural property. The severed lands included an empty livestock barn, a grain bin, and a couple of other agricultural buildings. The zoning bylaw amendment is required to recognize reduced setbacks for the existing grain bin and a reduced front yard setback for the existing grain bin, a reduced interior side yard from the existing unoccupied livestock barn, and also the resultant property or the retained property with that application contains an existing dwelling and a detached garage. And the special exception policy or zone is applied to that parcel, recognizing a setback, a reduced MDS or minimum distance separation setback between that dwelling and the existing livestock barn. So this property or these properties are located on the Oak Ridges Moraine. They're located on the east side of Westington Road. The properties have frontage on both Westington Road and Oak Ridges Drive or County Road 9. The property is, the benefiting parcel is actively cultivated for agricultural purposes, and the lot addition lands are adding lands, the agricultural barns, to that agricultural property. The the smaller parcel, which as I mentioned will contain a dwelling, detached garage and an in-ground pool. And that property is being rezoned to recognize a reduced MDS setback. So the applications are consistent with the provincial planning statement. Because the lands are located on both the Oak Ridges Moraine and designated for agricultural purposes, no new lot creation is permitted. However, no new lot was created with the previous consent application. There were two previous lot addition applications which sort of adjusted the lot lines, but no new severed lot was created. They started off with two lots and they're ending up with two lots. So that's why they're permitted under both the provincial planning statement and the Oak Ridges Moraine Conservation Plan. Excuse me. Section 4.6 of the provincial planning statement requires the protection of both built and archaeological resources within the province. The existing dwelling is designated under the Ontario Heritage Act and will continue to be designated under that act. There's no changes to that designation. And I did not recommend an archaeological assessment be undertaken for these applications because no new development was being created. The zoning bylaw was just recognizing existing reduced setbacks. So that's why we didn't require an archaeological study. So as I mentioned earlier, there's an unoccupied livestock barn on the lot addition lands. The barn is located about 48 meters from the existing dwelling on the retained parcel. And the required MDS for that unoccupied livestock barn, given the size of the property, is actually 288 meters. So it obviously doesn't meet the MDS or the minimum distance separation setback. And the zoning bylaw amendment will recognize the reduced 48-meter setback. The conflict already exists between the barn and the dwelling. So that's why we're going with a reduction in this case. The property is designated Oak Ridges Moraine in the county official plan, permits a range of agricultural uses, including a single detached dwelling and the agricultural buildings. The township's official plan, the property is designated Oak Ridges Moraine Countryside, Oak Ridges Moraine Linkage, and Oak Ridges, a portion is also designated Oak Ridges Moraine Environmental, I believe, as well. The Oak Ridges Moraine Countryside designation includes a range of uses, including the agricultural use and the existing residential use. The properties are currently zoned Oak Ridges Moraine Countryside, Oak Ridges Moraine Linkage, and Oak Ridges Moraine Environmental Plan Review in the zoning bylaw. Both the Oak Ridges Moraine Countryside and Oak Ridges Moraine Linkage zones permit agricultural uses and existing residential uses. The Oak Ridges Moraine Environmental Zone is limited to that area on the northern portion of the property that is currently forested. So the lands that are actually under agricultural cultivation are zoned both Oak Ridges Moraine Countryside and Oak Ridges Moraine Linkage. And you'll see that I'm only recommending that the that portion of the agricultural property that is zoned Oak Ridges Moraine Countryside be rezoned. And the reason that the zoning only applies to that area is because that is the area in which the buildings that we're recognizing the deficient setbacks in are located. The Oak Ridges Moraine, if you look at the schedule that's prepared. It's kind of an unusual looking schedule. The Oak Ridges Moraine linkage zone is located on the southern portion of the property. The Oak Ridges Moraine countryside zone is located in the center of the property. And the Oak Ridges Marine Environmental is on the northern portion. So when all of the applications are finished and everything is done, the lot, I'm not sure why that showed up so strangely on your. Okay, you'll see on the schedule, it's attachment A to the report. There's a square lot with cross hatching, and that is the residential lot. And that is proposed to be rezoned to the special Oak Ridges Marine Countryside Zone. And that will recognize the reduced setback to the livestock barn on the adjacent property to the north. And then there is a rectangular shaped property with a small triangle that pops down south. That is the, excuse me. Those are the lot addition lands. And the part that is zoned with or crosshatched with the sort of square crosshatch, those are the lands to be rezoned to the Oak Ridges Marine Countryside 4, or the special Oak Ridges Marine Countryside 4 zone. And that zone will recognize the deficient front setback for the grain bin and interior side setback for the livestock barn. And the lands to the south that are in the linkage zone don't need to be rezoned because there are no livestock buildings or anything that we have to recognize frontages in. It's only that center portion, which is the Oak Ridges Marine Countryside area, that I am recommending be rezoned. And also that property, when all of these applications are finished, the property that's the lot addition lands, that property line will disappear at the end of the day, and we'll just have two properties. The small square parcel with frontage on Westington Road, and the larger agricultural property with frontage on both Westington Road and County Road 9. So those are the recommendations. The application was circulated to a number of agencies as required by the Planning Act. Ganaraska Region Conservation Authority commented that they have no concerns with the application. Hamilton Township Building Department had no objections. Hamilton Township Public Works Department had no comments or concerns. Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board had no objections, and Northumberland County had no objections. Notice of the application was circulated to all landowners within 120 meters of the property on December 20th, and a sign was posted on December 17th. At the time the report was written, no comments had been received. Since that time, a neighbor came into the office requesting clarification on the purpose of the application. I explained the application. They seemed to understand at the end of the day and didn't have any concerns. They were kind of excited because they thought maybe things were opening up on the Oak Ridges Moraine, but I explained that that wasn't the case. In this case, they had 2 lots when they started, and they'll have 2 lots when they finish. So the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is required to fulfill a condition of consent application B0224, which requires that the conditionally approved, retained, severed, and benefiting lands be rezoned. The recommendation is that the application be approved.
Moving to the audience, which I think we can do quickly. Is there anyone here in support of the application? Seeing none, is there anyone here opposed to the application? Seeing none, is there anyone here seeking clarification on the application? And there is none. We'll move on quickly to 8.3 and on into 9.1. We can then call Bruce back in. Prepared motion is that council rise from a public meeting under section 34 of the Planning Act and reconvene to a regular meeting of council at 1:14 p.m. on January 21st, 2025. Could I have a mover, please? John, second by Larry. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to 9.1, which is the actual bylaw itself for this rezoning. Prepared motion reads that bylaw 2025-03 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2001-58 governing zoning for the Township of Hamilton be given first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 21st day of January of 2025. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Mark, second by Larry. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. And we'll just hesitate until Bruce rejoins us. Okay, we're at 10.1 on our agenda, and it's dealing with our previous council and committee meetings. Prepared motion that the minutes of the December 17th, 2024 council meeting be adopted. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Larry, seconded by John. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. And on, sorry, there is no business from those previous minutes. Committee reports under 12.1, Cobourg Public Library. And there is a list of meeting dates being December 12th, 2024 financials, the 2023-24 monthly stat charts, the 2024 board self-evaluation results, the approved 2025 budget, draft minutes of December 2nd, draft minutes of November 20th. And Hamilton Township stats, as well as January 2025 CEO report. Prepared motion reads that the agenda items 12.2 of the January 21st, 2025 council meeting agenda, being the library board minutes and report, be received for information. Moved by John, seconded by Larry. I'll turn to our clerk. Am I right in saying that is 12.2 or should that read 12.1? And we can just.
Yes, thank you.
12.1 when I read 12.2. That'll be corrected. All those in favor of the motion? Okay, sorry, questions?
Question maybe for you, Larry. Has the town of Cobourg passed the budget for the library?
Yes, they have. They finally passed the budget. I just want to clarify something that in the statistics with Nezrit and I, our budget number was allocated from 23% of the population membership. And it was therefore discovered in another document that it was much less, which caused us some concern. It was noted from the library that when they look at their membership numbers, when they looked at the postal area of Cobourg versus Hamilton Township, the numbers showed on Hamilton Township of 1,714, which made it like 17%. But they since went back in and were able to further identify through postal codes those members from Hamilton Township are now correctly affixed to now there's 1,714 to, sorry, it was originally, yeah. What did I got there? 1,832, which now we're up to 21.6. So they've got a big fund, a membership campaign going on to try to increase membership in Hamilton Township to 25 to 30%. So there's a real need for the library, but the statistics didn't reflect the proper numbers that we were showing in our budget and their budget. So we've fixed that, just so everybody knows. Thank you.
Thanks for that clarity, Larry. Okay, we do have a motion moved and seconded. Are there any other questions? All those in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. Public Works and Infrastructure under section 13 of our agenda, dealing with the 2024 annual and summary report for Camborne and Creighton Heights drinking water systems. Prepared motion, the council receives report WTR 2025-01, being the 2024 annual and summer report for Cameron and Creighton Heights drinking water systems for information, and that council acknowledges receipt of the report by a recorded vote. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Larry, seconded by Bruce. Are there any questions at this point in time or comments? Seeing none, I shall turn this part over to our clerk for a recorded vote, please.
Thank you, Councillor Butter. Councillor Davidson. Councillor Loveshin. Deputy Mayor Williamson and Mayor Joe.
Yay,
Carried unanimously.
thank you. Moving on to corporate services. CAO 2025-02 report regarding the strategic plan 2023 to 2026. Arthur.
Thank you, Mayor Jib. If I can just take a few minutes, very short presentation, a summary one of the actual annual report to provide a bit of context about the material that's going on. And are you going to advance it or shall I? It's there. I'll try it from there. Thank you, Brenda. Again, this is our key achievements and strategic priorities, a summary of the strategic plan, which, as you know, is our annual report is now sort of a way of summarizing what we've accomplished in respect of council's strategic plan over the course of the past year. It basically shows the results of our dedicated team of senior department officials, as well as council, all of staff, and members of the community to accomplish the goals of the strategic plan. As a result of the various commitments, as well as the shared goals, we've navigated a variety of challenges over the course of the year and made significant progress in investments in our infrastructure, our expanded community services, as well as innovative programs to improve the well-being of our residents. In addition, we've also focused on making improvements to our enhanced environmental sustainability through various projects that contribute to a greener future for the township. I also wanted to ensure that we look ahead at building a good foundation for the future, and that one that supports continued growth, inclusivity, and ensuring that the township remains a vibrant place to live in the future. The report itself walks through a number of basic elements of our community profile, and there has not been substantial change to that information. And you'll see a number of pages that reflect, again, the demographic background on our community. It also provides a number of pages with respect to snapshot achievements. And this includes, for example, and I'll highlight a few, support of over 125 meetings that occurred during the year. And these are formal meetings that occurred of council or committees and supported by staff. We've made improvements to over 22.5 kilometers, 22.3, excuse me, kilometers of road repairs, 140 building permits issued, as well as 290 building inspections. Other departments included enhancements to our social media outreach, and 52,000 website views occurred during the year. In addition to some of these achievements, I highlight also that 2,500 library card holders, as well as 150 library programs being offered. And you heard some of that information from the material that Clary, our Deputy Mayor Williamson, just provided a few moments ago. But the work and the achievement doesn't end there. In addition to adding 10 new fire recruits, we had over 300 emergency response activations, which when you add it up, it's almost one a day as far as emergency responses. And we've completed 1,599 service requests completed during the course of the year, responding to requests from the community. I think all these figures reflect our commitment to delivering and ensuring quality services and meeting the community needs. Our strategic plan, as you know, in creating that vision of a vibrant, sustainable township that we're proud to call home, meant we delivered on the 5 key priorities of people, community, effective governance, environment, and development. The annual report provides a summary of the key accomplishments. And I want to highlight a few here, which includes some of our priorities with respect to people. And this includes spearheading the various workforce culture improvements that we've been making over the last during 2024. And you see a report later in the agenda with respect to Better Works, how we track it, how we work, and dedicate a lot of effort and attention to make sure we're driving results towards the achievement of our strategic plan. In addition to that, and I've mentioned continual support for council, but also the committees that occur in the community, as well as undertaking a number of policy reviews, pay equity reviews, as well as new performance management process for all staff that will be rolled out this year. So in addition to the priorities for people, we made a number of progress of community priorities for our community rather. And you'll see this rather attractive picture when it was much warmer several months ago. And a number of members of council were there, as well as the 2 members from the community. I'm not sure who's happier, the ones holding the ribbon or the ones with the large scissors in their hands. However, the priority of with respect to people, we were successful in obtaining a community grant to make improvements to the accessible playground at Laurel Park, and it was, as noted in the picture, installed in July of 2024. We also successfully hosted our second community recognition awards event program. Rather successful both years. It's been very well received in the community and continues to grow and expand. Not only the number of people recognized, but the number of people attending. As well as those programs we rolled out for our community, our expanded communications plan that council approved last month with respect to broadening our outreach and our intent to reach larger parts of our community. In addition to community, some of our activities with respect to people include our staff training, as well as our multi-year accessibility program. Now, I've taken a step back because I wanted to highlight those. Not only the improvements you're seeing here in the chambers, you'll see some further improvements as far as the final steps of those improvements. This was all designed in improving the accessibility and both remote as well as in-person the ability to ensure that we have an accessible council chambers in the future. So I'll move forward to our effective governance. And I mentioned a few of the highlights already as far as with respect to meetings, but we've also held additional review of our various policies, as well as health and safety. And we managed to ensure that those committees are on meeting regularly, make improvements to our processes, ensuring the staff remain in a safe working environment. We provided, and council worked very closely with us and the community, approving a budget meets the needs of the organization. And we've been recognized for that for the 2 straight years. So we're looking forward to, again, the substantial work that all staff provided and working with council and the community to provide those budgets and working with the now getting the results with respect to projects in the course of 2025. Another innovation was the outreach and improvements to the public GIS portal with the help of Northumberland County, including various enhancements such as the Street View option. Our priorities with respect to another of the priorities included the work with respect to the environment. This includes receiving 100% ratings for both our Camborne and Creighton Heights plants. And you saw those annual reports coming forward just a few moments ago, but it also includes the Creighton Heights raw water quality projects where staff are working with the Walkerton Clean Water to improve the quality of our water in the future. You received very early in last year in 2024, the stormwater master plan, and we're looking for improvements of that. The library's done programs with respect to educating the public on environmental priorities. And we're undertaking, as you know, stormwater mapping in 2024, leading into the project over the course of the next few years, how to plan for stormwater flooding issues in the future. With respect to our priority on development, staff completed an official plan, which had various alternate notice provisions. And as well as that, we had a zoning bylaw amendment, as well as major housekeeping amendments in the October with adoption in December. So a number of works with respect to planning, development, and our documentation in support of that. The building development completed all their inspections and plan reviews well within the legislated timeframes. And again, we tested our tanker shuttle accreditation, ensuring our industrial rating of over 657 gallons per minute was achieved. In addition, with respect to development and testing our systems, we did hydrant testing to ensure we completed flow ratings as per the NFPA standards. So we're looking at all these issues with respect to development and planning for the future. It brings us to some of the challenges and resilience we see in the future. And this was with respect to economic volatility. We continue to take steps with respect to our financial management, resource allocation to try and manage those challenges. We look for environmental concerns such as investing in sustainable project, modernizing our infrastructure so it can deal with the challenges of flooding and the challenges with respect to making sure we protect that infrastructure in the future. Of course, there will be continued challenges and requirements related to societal needs. We want to continue to engage the community and make sure through technology and community outreach, we're engaging that community. So innovation and collaboration remain very key tools in overcoming challenges in the future. Looking ahead in the 2025, we want to deliver on the results of the 2025 budget, ensure that the infrastructure and service improvements are delivered upon. We want to strengthen our community engagement through surveys, consultations, all issues identified in the recently approved communications plan. And we're looking to leveraging our technology to streamline operations and enhance transparency in the future. I want to thank everybody for a successful year. The team behind me is extremely important. So with all the senior staff, all the staff in the organization, the volunteers, the community groups, and of course, you as council have helped deliver upon a very successful year, contributed to making sure it was a successful one. And it's one where we are all together as a team, making life better and in our vibrant and resilient community. That was all I wanted to say, is sort of trying to provide a highlight, the snapshot of the 2024 annual report. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur. I think we just in layman's words, my rough terminology, I think we do a great job of things, and it's showing. So thank you. We're about to, did we have a motion? Can't remember, but we got through a motion. I was just going to say, before we get to the motion, would anyone like to provide a comment or a thought or a question? Larry, please.
Thank you, Arthur. That was a great presentation. Just one question on your vision statement. Could you go back to the vision statement for a minute? Because I think we missed something there.
You're quite right. There's a contraction on the statement. There was it was an abbreviated form of that vision statement was included in that
No, right at the beginning.
presentation.
Right at the beginning. Vision statement, right there, right there. Yeah, we missed making life better.
You're quite right. This is was sort of an abbreviated or short version. The actual vision is not changed, and the annual report presents it properly as well.
Okay, because it's important that we establish our mission statement. The making life better is the brand. Is probably one of the most important things to remember of that statement. The others are subsequent. So making life better is the brand essential. It's because everything we do here is about making life better. So I just wanted to make sure we haven't lost that vision.
Not at all. And through Mayor Jeb, I tried to reference that exact phrase a few times in my actual verbal presentation, but you'll see in the annual report it's presented properly.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Arthur.
Any further questions or comments? Moving on to the motion. The council receives report CAO 2025-02, being the strategic plan 2023-2026, 2024 annual report for information. Could I have a mover, please? Mark, second by Bruce. Any follow-up questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. On to report T 2025-01 Fire Protection Grant. We do have prepared motion that council receives report 2025-01 Fire Protection Grant 2024 to 2025 for information. The council approves $24,692 to be funded from the fire protection grant to fund an additional 10 sets of bunker gear. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Larry, seconded by John. Do we have any questions or comments? We have people here that can answer us. Okay, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. 15.3 on our agenda. Authorization to close and convey parts 3 and 4 of Plan 39R 1639. Prepared motion. Is it where I was looking? Prepared motion. The council receives report CD 2025-01. Authorization to close and convey parts 3 and 4 Plan 39R 1639 for information, and that bylaw 2025-04 be brought forward for consideration to authorize stopping up and closing of a part of a road allowance between lots 8 and 9, concession 7, and to authorize conveyance. Do I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by John, seconded by Bruce. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried, thank you. 15.4. Strategic Plan 2023-26, year-end update, Better Works. Prepared motion that council receives report CAO 2025-01, Strategic Plan 2023 to 2026, year-end update, Better Works for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Mark, seconded by John. Any questions or comments? John?
Just a question for the CAO. On page 45, should that also include the new communication plan?
Sorry, through you, Mayor Chip. Do you have the objective you're referring to? Sorry, I don't have the actual page number in front of me.
45.
Okay. I believe it is included here under another area. And I try to avoid having too many places reported, so it doesn't look like we're over reporting on objectives, but it is reported in one of the other areas where we made the progress, we had the consultation with the community, and then had council approval.
Okay, I was just considering the fact that when the community people read this and they see it one section, they'll probably figure why it's not another section, even though it may be duplicated. But I still feel it should be included in there, but that's up to.
I can look at where it lines up this year as far as when we report on the progress and we bring forward. So I'll look for a sort of a nice place to bring it forward without making it look like, we did it under building, we did it under plan. I'm trying to avoid over sort of reporting as such.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Arthur. Any other questions? Larry?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of questions. On page, can't remember what that number is. It says our priorities, communication. It was promote and pursue economic development. I was just wondering what type of economic development we're pursuing at this time. I think that's page 4, I think. Page 4.
Is there a section there, Larry? Because it seems as though our CAO doesn't have
It's hard. to
page
follow.
numbers in the same version as we've had.
I'll pull it up.
I think it was page 4 of the presentation.
So
Oh,
To our CAO, Arthur, would you like us to move on, and then you could maybe have an opportunity to get back to us on this, or? to be fair to the question and to be fair for the answer?
Through your Mayor Jib, I do have it. It's the promotion of, we've identified some of the activities we've undertaken with respect to that. That includes, for example, the promotion or the advertising of the township through various guides, channels, websites, social media, local brochures and promotional materials. So we take out ads or promote the township in those forums. We also pursue additional economic development through idea exchange. So for example, there was a rural economic development summit that we attended to try and get that information. We also promote the township through various activities such as the Rice Lake Poker Run, the Bewdley Community Festival, ensuring that we have, for example, rental programs available in Bewdley. So there's various activities that we've identified under objective development goal 1, encouraging investing diverse economic development initiatives in the township.
That was one of the questions I had also is, what did we do to promote the poker run and the Bewdley community July 1st weekend? I don't remember hearing anything on that. I think we should be doing more of that kind of thing. But as supporting festivals in 24, overview who and what. So you indicated the poker run, but I don't know, I could be wrong, but I'm not sure how we promoted it.
So we support, in some cases, it's supporting or new or ongoing activities. So for example, if there's requirements for them or the use of the area in Bewdley, it's declined. If they are operating out of Golden Beach, I understand this last year. But if they actually are using our park area in the past, we support that as an ongoing activity. There may also be either using our parking area in the Bewdley for boats or for drop-offs as well. So there's community facilities that are used. In this category, we also had activities related to the Rice Lake cider, actually the individual who's trying to promote with a Christmas fest, I believe. And Trevor was working with them to do that as well. So you may not see a splash in local media, but it all staff working or coordinating with organizers from those activities and events.
Okay. Have we encouraged some of the businesses in the area to become involved with the BECN program in Cobourg? Development of businesses? Because, we're looking at, we look at our demographic profile density, we're talking 82 commercial, 52 special exempt, I'm not sure what that is, and 34 industrial. We're not seeing any growth, for instance, in the retail commercial area. We don't have a gas station operating in the whole of township of Hamilton. We have very limited restaurants. So I'm just wondering if we're doing any development at all to bring some retail north of Cobourg, or do we rely completely on sending all our residents to Cobourg for those kinds of services? I mean, are we doing anything from an economic development point of view to encourage economic development into our area?
Right. Through you, Mayor Chip. So through the objective 2024 development goal 2, continuing to promote local businesses. We have been in touch with the County of Northumberland Tourism. We provide them with all the businesses that we're aware of in the township so that they can promote them on their website, which is they act as sort of our primary economic development partner. And we've shared all that information for them. They're going to be rolling out a new website this year, and we'll be working with them in the promotion of our businesses. So we did that last year in sort of anticipation or working with them to try and, again, promote everything we are aware of as far as in the township. And I think that kind of coordinated activity will generate results. We do have other things to do, of course, and we'll be looking at additional activities to track this year. And that's working with, for example, the resorts on Rice Lake as far as how we can help promote them. I know there's an association, we worked with them in the past, but we'll be looking at that, for example, in the year ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Um, we have a motion on the floor. It's been moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Nothing under emergency services, communications and announcements. Prepared motion that the agenda items of 17.2 to 17.5 of the January 21st, 25 council meeting agenda be received. And I don't know whether there's anyone that wishes to pull anything here, but we'll go through the process. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Mark, seconded by John. Okay. All those in favor of the motion? Carried, thank you. Is there anything that anyone would like to pull for further discussion? Larry, please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just 17.2, the letter from Minister Calander. Are we going to be responding to that request regarding from the county about the providing lands for providing spacing lands for that program? I don't know what we could do, but they're asking for each municipality to respond with possible lands that could be used for homeless encampments, I guess.
Well, I can respond to that through
Can-
you, Mayor
good.
Jim. I did respond to the CAO of Northumberland County and identify and noted to them that we do not have any lands that would be appropriate, owned by the township, that would be appropriate for the program identified.
Thank you. Anything else that anyone would like to pull from that group? Okay. Oh, Larry, sorry, please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the Highway 401 Nagle interchange. It seems to be moving along the planning for that. We still have not heard anything about the impact it's going to have on Hamilton Township on the North Nagle Road going into Baltimore. I mean, our name was only mentioned, I think, once in the report. No reference to the impact on the land or impact on the travel density coming back up to Baltimore. And also the impact it has just coming off the 401 into Hamilton Township. So I wonder if anything's been said to, staff or to the mayor or anybody about the Nagle Road interchange.
I'll defer that to staff and then come back to my own answer on the second part of the question. Arthur, are you going to speak?
Well, I can highlight the fact through you, Mayor Jib, that we had participated in the public's open houses rather, that were held on Nagle Road. We identified our interests as far as can the bridge, for example, support additional servicing that might be extended one day from Coburg or sought one day from Lucy and Coburg to be extended across Nagle Road. As in other words, providing them input and comment on the development of that area. We know that the northeast quadrant of Coburg is going to be growing considerably. And we asked if there was any support or any studies over and above the traffic studies that were performed by the consultant Stantec, I believe, on traffic counts for that area or projected traffic counts. The town of Coburg responded that any study that the township was interested in would have to be funded by the township as far as impacts on development or roads or infrastructure or otherwise. So that was the result of both our input and the comment we received back.
Thank you, Arthur.
So just to follow up, so in that public discussions, we talked about water coming across the Nagle Road somehow, and was that further added to the report? I didn't see anything about that.
I don't believe so. It is one that every time I've met with them, I flagged it and continue to raise it as trying to design for the future. However, despite it being flagged, it has not been reflected in the report.
Sorry, follow up, because this does say notice of completion of the report. So I would assume that if it's complete, then if we're not mentioned or considered, we maybe should bring that to their attention that we still have those outstanding issues in front of us. Because albeit I think it's going to be a few years before it gets built, but when it gets built, it's too late. So just a comment that if we could follow that up. Thank you.
John, did you have a question?
Through you, Mayor Jeb. Just to add on to Larry's comments, the fact that I believe it also affects our emergency services as well. If they make that an EDR route, then our fire service is going to be deeply impacted by that, especially if you have a slew of cars blocking the fire hall exit. And I wonder if you can bring that to their attention as well, that we would probably have to rebuild or remove the fire hall to another location if that happens. And who's going to pay for that? It's going to end up being our taxpayers and not the developer or not the town of Cobourg.
Any other questions or comments? I'll simply calmly add that I have had the occasion to be present at public meetings. I've had the opportunity to be present at a county council meeting when a presentation was made to them. And I'm sure that they have notes regarding our concerns. They may have some personal notes on my method of communications with them because I wanted to ensure that they understood of our concerns. I've not heard anything from a follow-up perspective on any of those concerns in any way. Thank you. I guess I'm still with, is there anything else?
So through your Mayor Jeb, I will undertake to draft a letter as a result of notice of completion of the Nagel report and identify some of the concerns that we've raised with respect to traffic, emergency services, the impact on our community and the sharing of costs or the identification of costs and impact on us versus the town of Cobourg or the developers in sort of realizing the benefit of development in that area.
Guess I'll move on to 18. No, we have a motion on the floor there. And we've got all of the correspondence under 17 there, done and carried. Okay. So I can move on to 18.1, which moves us into closed session. And it reads, the motion to move to a closed session to discuss matters permitted under section 239 2B, personal matters regarding an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, regarding the advisory committee appointment. And the motion reads, it is recommended Council of Corporation Township of Hamilton acts as follows. That the council meeting held on January 21st, 2025 moved into a closed session at 1:53 p.m. under the Municipal Act sections 239 2B. Could I have a mover, please, and a seconder? Moved by Bruce, second by Mark. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried, thank you. And we'll simply take a moment to turn off our microphone. our report out of closed session is that staff were directed to proceed with bringing forward a bylaw in open session to appoint Caitlin Clintworth to Parks and Recreation Committee. Thank you. Okay, moving on in our open session agenda, we're at section 20.1. It prepared motion reads that the bylaw 2025-01 being a bylaw to appoint an interim tax levy to provide for the payment of taxes and to provide for the penalty and interest be given first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 21st day of January 2025. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by John, seconded by Larry. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. 20.2 being bylaw 2025-02 being our borrowing bylaw. Prepared motion that the bylaw 2025-02 being a bylaw to provide for the borrowing of funds for the Township of Hamilton be given first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 21st day of January 2025. Mover and the seconder, moved by Mark, seconded by John. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. 20.3 on our agenda. Bylaw reads that bylaw number 2025-04 being a bylaw to authorize the stopping up, closing, conveyance of part of the road allowance between lots 8 and 9, concession 7, identified as parts 3 and 4, Plan 39R 1639 for the Township of Hamilton be given a first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 21st day of January 2025. Mover, Larry, second, and John. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. 20.4 on our agenda. Prepared motion reads that the bylaw 2025-05 being a bylaw to appoint members of council to the Committee of Adjustment be given first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 21st day of January 2025. Do I have a mover and a seconder for this, please? Moved by Bruce, seconded by Larry. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. 20.5 on our agenda. Prepared motion reads that bylaw 2025-06 being a bylaw to appoint a member to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee for the remainder of the council term be given a first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 21st day of January 2025. Mover and a seconder, moved by John, seconded by Larry. Questions, comments? All those in favor? Carried. Okay, no notice of motions, no media questions. Back to 24 on our confirmatory bylaw. Prepared motion reads that bylaw 2025-07 being a bylaw to adopt the proceedings of council meeting held on this 21st day of January 2025 and to authorize its execution be given a first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 21st day of January 2025. Mover and a seconder, moved by John, seconded by Bruce. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Prepared motion that the council meeting held on January 21st, 2025 be adjourned at 2:09 p.m. Mover, please. Mark. Seconder, Larry. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.